In this video, we will demonstrate how to select a Qt Quick Control style at compile time. All examples in this course are built in Qt Creator 17 using a Qt 6.9.1 MinGW 64-bit kit. To start, we have a Qt Quick application that consists of a variety of components from the Qt Quick Controls module. As it is shown now, the example main.qml file, which contains all the controls, imports the entire Qt Quick Controls module. This results in the Qt Quick Controls style defaulting to the Windows style since we are using a Windows desktop. For this example, we will change the style of the main.qml file to the material style. To do this, we can simply modify the line responsible for importing Qt Quick Controls, which will allow us to select a specific style at runtime. Upon this change, we will be using the Qt Quick Controls material style rather than the entire Qt Quick Controls module. Note that compile time style selection only affects the QML file where the import is done. As we run the application again, we can see the material style is used rather than the default Windows style. All buttons, containers, indicators, and inputs from the Qt Quick Controls module are now displayed with the material style. Multiple styles within the same application are not supported, even if applied in different QML files. The style is hard-coded at build time. As a result, the application cannot switch styles using command line arguments, for example. We will demonstrate how to select a Qt Quick Control style at runtime. Unlike compile time style selection, there are several ways to choose a style at runtime. The advantage of runtime style selection is that a single application binary can support multiple styles, allowing the end user to pick which style to use. Let's take a look at our application. Currently, this application consists of a main.qml file that contains a variety of controls. The style of the controls defaults to the Windows style because the entire Qt Quick Controls module is imported in the QML file and no other modifications have been made. Now we will demonstrate the 4 methods of selecting a style at runtime. In order of priority, they are selected. The first and highest priority way to select a style at runtime is to use the QQuickStyle C API. Because it has the highest priority, this method of runtime style selection will always be used over other runtime methods, even if they are specified. To do this, rather than making a change to the import statement in our main.qml, we will switch over to the main.cpp file, where we can use the C API. The functions we will use come from the QQuickStyle library, so we will need to include QQuickStyle at the top of this file. With the QQuickStyle library included, we can now use the setStyle function to set the default style before loading any QML. We can pass the desired style as the argument of the setStyle function. In this case, we will use the universal style. At this point, any QML file that does not explicitly import a Qt Quick Control style at compile time will use the universal style. To show this, we can run the program, which will display a set of controls defined in the main.qml file, which uses the runtime selected universal style. The next method we will show is the second highest in priority when selecting a style. This involves adding a command line argument for style selection. Before we show this method, let's comment out the previous runtime style selection we made. We can add the command line argument multiple ways. First, we will do this by opening a command line to add the command line arguments. For this example, we are using Windows, so we will open a Windows command line, which we have already navigated to our project's build directory. From here, we simply run the application with an additional argument called style, followed by the name of the style which we would like to select as the default style at runtime. We can try running this example first using the same universal style as last time. We can see the application ran using the universal style. Let's try this again with the basic style. We'll use the same command as before, but switch universal to basic. As expected, the application now runs using the basic style as the default style for any Qt Quick controls. Let's close the program and demonstrate the second way of adding a command line argument, which can be done via Qt Creator. In the project's run settings, we can simply add the argument to the command line argument section. We'll add the argument to run this in the material style here. With this argument configured, we can run the application and see the material style is selected. Now let's close the program and move to the third method of choosing a style at runtime, which is setting an environment variable. To do this, we'll go back to Qt Creator and modify the main.cpp once again. This time, we'll add a line to set the environment variable Qt Quick controls style. To do this, we will use the QPut function, which accepts two arguments, the first being the environment variable we wish to change, and the second being the value we wish to change it to. In this case, the second argument will be the full name of the Qt Quick control style we wish to use. For our example, let's use the Fusion style. Nothing more is required for this example, but please note that it is also possible to manually set the environment variable without using the C++ API shown here. Now let's run the example, and we will see our application using the Fusion style for Qt Quick controls. Now we will comment out the QPut function and move on to the fourth and lowest priority method of selecting a runtime style for Qt Quick controls, which is using the Qt Quick controls config file. This file has been predefined and exists in the project's top-level directory. We simply need to add this file to the project. Upon adding Qt Quick controls config, we will be able to view it in Qt Creator. To do this, we will add the Qt add resources command to our cmakelists.txt, where we can specify the addition of the Qt Quick controls config file. Within Qt Quick controls config, we can see some style attributes defined for the material and universal styles, but more importantly, for our example, we can see the top controls section, which defines the style to be selected at runtime, as well as a fallback style. Here we have specified the material style as the primary style, so we should be able to see that used in our example, as well as a light theme and purple accent as defined in the Qt Quick controls config file. Remember, this method will only be used if no other runtime selection method has been used. Now that we have covered runtime style selection, we can move on to palette selection in the next video. Thank you for watching.